A very good evening and welcome to News Watch with me, Tony Omondi, as I bring you the latest news updates. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin with our first story. Now, Deputy President William Ruto now says he's not bothered by the ongoing political realignments ahead of 2022. He says that the Hustler movement is ready and prepared to face any coalitions ahead of the next general election. Speaking in Machakos Town during a meeting with small-scale traders from the county, Dr. Ruto said his focus is on how to improve the lives of majority of Kenyans who are hustling to put something on the table. His remarks come just a day after One Kenya Alliance met in Nairobi to re-strategize ahead of next year's general election. Our reporter Alice Diana begins our broadcast tonight.
Just a day after the principals of the One Kenya Alliance met in Nairobi to review the status of their coalition and chart a way forward, Deputy President William Ruto now says he's not bothered by political realignments that are being formed ahead of the 2022 general election. According to him, the alliances are being formed by leaders whose focus is to create position for themselves. Bashing a section of politicians, Ruto said opposition leaders have nothing new to show in terms of development during their stints in government, urging Kenyans to ignore them. He regretted that the Jubilee administration had great plans for Kenyans during its second term, but was disrupted by opposition leaders who found their way into the government through the handshake.
Pale mbeleni niliwaambia hawa viongozi wenzangu, hatuwezi kuendelea kuongea mambo ya viongozi kila wakati. Kiongozi fulani atapata nini? Kiongozi fulani atapata nini? Kiongozi fulani atapata cheo gani? Kiongozi fulani atakuwa na mamlaka gani? Haiwezekani kuwa Kenya ni ya viongozi peke yao. Kenya hii kuna viongozi ambao ni wachache, lakini vile vile tuko na wananchi wengi, mamilioni. Ni lini mambo ya huyu mtu mdogo, mwananchi mdogo, mambo yake itazungumziwa tarehe gani?
Speaking on Wednesday in Machakos Town, Ruto asked the opposition to apologize to Kenyans for disrupting projects that were aimed at improving their lives. He noted that the change of economic model from top to bottom up was the surest way of ensuring all Kenyans uplift their living standards.
Leo mimi nataka niwaambie wale ndugu zetu ambao waliingia katika mpango yetu ya serikali 2018, wakakuja wakasambaratisha mpango wa housing ambayo ingepatia vijana kazi, wakasambaratisha mambo ya kilimo ambayo ingeongeza mapato kwa kilimo na tupate export ya mambo ya kilimo ambayo ingesaidia wananchi katika universal health coverage. Nataka niwaulize, kabla hawajaongea na sisi, waombe msamaha kwanza.
MPs who accompanied Ruto, including Victor Munyaka of Machakos Town, Vincent Musyoka of Mwala, Nimrod Mbai of Kitui East, and Rigathi Gachagua of Mathira, told the Kamba community not to be misled to support individuals who would end up being in opposition come 2022. The leaders urged Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to consider working with Ruto, noting that he had no place in NASA.
Kile ambacho Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, Mheshimiwa whoever wanatafuta na huyu mtu ya kitendawili ambayo kwa miaka mingi tumetafuta ikakosekana. Hiyo yenye wanatafutanga walete Ukambani, ndio hiyo tu tunatafuta na Mheshimiwa Ruto tulete hapa Ukambani.
Sasa ile makosa tulifanya wakati ule ya kusikiza wale watuambia tusiende Jubilee, tukae hii chama ingine, na baadaye wakakuja kuingilia kwa serikali huko mlango kubwa.
Kura ya Kitui, Makueni, Machakos 1.5 million. Sasa 1.5 million kuna pahali naweza enda. Sasa nyinyi tafadhali na muomba mkuwe watu werevu wa kupiga hesabu. Msikubali tena kukaa nje.
Hawa wa Machakos wanakuanga number 1 kuona mbele vile Kenya inaendelea. Saa hii they know UDA, na hapa UDA tumeandikisha 22,000 members. Na iko wengine tutaendelea kuandikisha, nataka tufikishe 70,000.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
As political temperatures continue to rise across the country, the ODM camp led by Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho has set out at the Deputy President William Ruto's Hustler movement saying the DP can or should rather offer Kenyans better. Speaking in Vita, Mombasa County, where ODM leader Raila Odinga was present, Governor Joho said it's time Mombasa people get top leadership positions in the next government. On his part, ODM leader Raila Odinga bashed anti-BBI politicians, hoping that the Court of Appeal will do justice. Our reporter Grace Ongoi has more.
The Orange Democratic Movement, ODM party, is enhancing its efforts to consolidate coastal votes ahead of the 2022 general elections, even as other political parties unite for formidable coalitions. The recent one being that of One Kenya Alliance that is still grappling with settling on a presidential candidate. ODM leader Raila Odinga has camped in Mombasa for 3 days now to woo the coastal region amid questions over fielding a presidential candidate in next year's general election. Speaking during a baraza, Odinga defended the Building Bridges initiative that seeks to amend the constitution, while at the same time telling off those opposed to the move. Odinga further mentioned that Kenyans should remain hopeful as they wait on the court's verdict on the bill, which will be delivered on August 20th.
Sisi tumesema tunataka vijana waanzishe biashara yao na kina mama waanzishe biashara yao wao vile vile. Hii ndio tofauti ambayo iko ndani ya BBI. Na wengine wanapinga. Alafu vile vile tumesema eneo zingine hazikupata wabunge eneo za bunge ya kutosha. Kama hapa Mombasa tunaongeza viti vya bunge 3 na kuja pa Mombasa. Alafu 3 naenda huko Kwale.
On his part, Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho took a hit at the wheelbarrow narrative by Deputy President William Ruto, terming it deceitful. Joho will go on to further caution residents of the central region, saying that they risk losing leadership for the next 50 years if they go against Odinga. Gaining votes in the central region is usually seen as a recipe for winning elections due to the high number of registered voters in the region.
Mtu mwingine amekwambia fitina, utafata tu. Let me, or a word of caution for you. Mukifanya makosa, safari hii, it will take you 50 years to recover. Tusibebwe na hisia kali. Mukifanya makosa safari hii, jisabuni miaka 50, mutakuwa kule sisi tulikuwa kwa miaka mingi sana. Take it from me.
Joho, who has in the past announced his interest in the presidential seat, asked for Muslim faithfuls for blessings as he competes alongside Raila Odinga and Oparanya to run for the top job under the ODM ticket.
Baraka nimepata, ruksa nimepata, ning'ang'ane na baba hapa, bega kwa bega, sambamba, sawia, mpaka moshi mweupe ufanye nini? Sako kwa bako.
Vita MP Abdul Swamad Sharif, however, disputed claims that ODM party will not file a presidential candidate and called on the party leader to announce a presidential candidate as soon as possible.
Na mimi najua ya kuwa mikakati tayari yashaweza kuanza kuzungumzwa. Wengine wanaanza kuzungumza na kuanza kuelezea ya kwa hatuna candidate. I want to assure you, ODM will field a candidate in the next general election. Sijui kama tuelewana. Na katika siku hizi ambazo kwamba ziko, because we have been able to give the right ideologies for this country. Tumekuwa na zile ambazo kwamba ni sera bora. Tumekuwa na zile ambazo kwamba ni sera zenye kufaa. Kwa hivyo ikiwa itawezekana hata mwezi mmoja isipite, najua tunakaa chini, mzee tunakaa naye na wewe tunakaa, Oparanya na kila mmoja ambaye kwamba nataka, tutaweza kuafikiana, and our party is democratic, ili we come up with a proper movement so that we tuweze kuikomboa hii nchi yetu ikifika mwaka 2022.
Grace Ongoi, Hope TV News Watch.
The 27 recently appointed judges of the Environment and Land Court, ELC, and the Employment and Labor Relations Court, ELRC, are expected to report to work on 1st of August this year. The announcement was made by the Chief Justice Martha Koome earlier today. The judges who are undergoing induction comprise 18 from the ELC and 9 from the Employment and Labor Relations Court. Speaking when she met the judges from the 2 courts ahead of their deployment, the CJ said she hopes to see improved access to justice and expeditious disposal of cases. Dolly Murigi has more.
I will at all times do the best of my knowledge and ability.
At least 27 judges will now report to work on August 1st, according to the Chief Justice Martha Koome. The judges will begin duties in Nyamira, Kilgoris, Siaya, Vihiga, Kwale, Isiolo, Homa Bay, and Nanyuki. The judges who are undergoing induction comprises of 18 from the Environment and Land Court, while 9 are from the Employment and Labor Courts relation. Koome said that 8 of the judges will sit full-time in the newly established Environment and Land Courts, bringing the total number of ELCs in the county to 34 at the county level. Koome spoke at the end of the induction session in Nairobi on Wednesday. Also says she now sees hope to see improved access to justice and expeditious disposal of cases.
We have requested for additional courts to be put up in Nairobi in 5 locations: Fuata Nyayo, Embakasi, Kasarani, Mathare, and Dagoretti. This will reduce the number of people who are traveling from those informal sectors to come to Milimani to access the small claims courts.
Koome also committed to devolution of small claim courts in various regions from October after she oversees the swearing in of 2 adjudicators, raising the number of 5 assigned to Nairobi Milimani courts. She noted the courts are critical to expansion of the formal justice system to some areas.
The small claims court is actually a key driver of my own vision, which is social transformation through access to justice. The main objective of the court is to guarantee the right to access to justice as envisaged under Article 48 and 169 of the Constitution. The courts have a simplified procedure that facilitates timely disposal of proceedings. Those simplified procedures also harness fairness of process and allow litigants to be the drivers of their own cases.
The Environment and Land Court now has 51 judges following the latest appointment, with CJ Koome saying Kenyans were yearning for and deserve accessible and expeditious delivery of justice, urging the judges to embrace active cases management to deal with the backlog and expected increased case filings.
The same standards that we embrace in the Supreme Court of expeditious disposal of the cases, of creating indigenous jurisprudence that enhances social justice, are the same standards that we are expecting in all the courts, including the small claims courts, the magistrates courts, and the tribunals.
Judges have been asked to inspire public trust and confidence in the judicial functions they undertake by being sensitive and more responsive to litigants.
I, Martin Jerome Tua, having been designated as an adjudicator of the Milimani Small Claims Court.
Dolly Murigi for Hope TV Newswatch.
The county government of Siaya has called on well-wishers and members of the public at large to chip in and support survivors of the Malanga tanker tragedy that left 17 people dead and dozens seriously injured. The county governor, Colonel Rasanga, through county authorities, said the county government has been outstretched and needs the support of well-wishers to treat and provide for the survivors as well as families of those who died in the fire incident.
I want to appeal for support from the public to the Disaster Management Committee. That is to say, we have been outstretched. The county government cannot manage to sustain the treatment of those who are there. Most of the burns have affected the skin, and it means that without the skin, there is no life. And so we seriously need support. Through the disaster committee, we are appealing to the bodies that have been assisting us, and even individuals if you are somebody from Siaya out there, please know that we have outstretched whatever we had, and we seriously need your help so that we can manage to treat the few who have remained in the hospital.
Let us now look at the COVID-19 situation. The country has recorded 503 new coronavirus cases from a sample size of 4,060 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate today stands at 12.4%, with the total confirmed infections rising to 194,310. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said 769 patients have recovered from the virus, bringing the total recoveries to 183,980. Sadly, 11 patients have succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in April, May, and July 2021. The cumulative fatalities now stand at 3,811. In terms of admissions, a total of 1,253 patients are admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 3,966 are under the home-based isolation and care program. Now, the Family Discipleship Conference, FDC, has continued for the second day at Sitam Valley Road in Nairobi, with keynote speakers taking the stage by storm to preach the gospel. The conference, that has brought together people from all walks of life and different denominations, has gathered more than 200,000 people online, with topics covered touching on family and marriage. The conference will continue tomorrow, with the topic of discussion being law of financial fitness.
The Family Discipleship Conference entered its second day this afternoon at Sitam Valley Road, Nairobi, as delegates attended the conference both physically and virtually. It brings together a wide range of speakers and attendees from around the world in the family context. The first topic today was Affair-Proof in Marriages by Dr. Stanley Mkole.
When a marriage struggles, you have to ask the question, what did you respect and admire in that person? And what caused that respect to diminish or deteriorate? Can it be restored? If it can't, the relationship is in bad shape, and that relationship is in high risk for an affair.
If you're not attending to your spouse, it doesn't matter that you're saving the corporate world. It doesn't matter that you're saving the church. It doesn't matter that you're casting out unclean spirits. If you're not at home, you're not at home.
The second session of the day by renowned Bible expositor Dr. Fenta Mamusha encouraged married couples to contend for their marriage. Dr. Mamusha encouraged that the main idea when it comes to fighting for one's family, motivation should be at play, especially during turbulence in marriage. Quoting the Bible from the book of Hebrews chapter 12 all through chapter 15, Dr. Mamusha Fenta has encouraged the congregation to have a motivation from the Lord that cannot be shaken.
The highest goal is to make God happy. The highest goal is to make God proud. In other words, we are given a kingdom that cannot be shaken so that we make the king proud. How do I make the king proud? Limit sexual intimacy within the context of marriage.
Other topics yet to be covered over the next 3 days include laws of financial fitness, mental wellness, and relationship goals. Sitam presiding Bishop Reverend Callisto Odede, Bible expositor Dr. Mamusha Fenta, founder of the South Africa School of Millionaires Dr. Mpafuli, are among some of the guest speakers lined up at the conference. Faith Imani Mugo for Hope TV Newswatch.
All right, Newswatch now takes a short break. We'll be back with more stories making headlines in the country. Just stay tuned.
To all family heads and matriarchs around the world, CITAM presents the Family Discipleship Conference coming this July, the 20th to the 24th. The conference will be a virtual meeting. We have dubbed the conference Resilient Through the Storm. And our guiding verse is Job 23 verse 10, when he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Our speakers, Bishop Callisto Odede, taking us through the conference theme, Ernest Wamboye taking us through a panel discussion on affair-proofing our marriages. Dr. Mamusha Fenta taking us through God's plan for the family. Elder Sam Makome, the laws of financial fitness. Dr. John Mpafuli, family finances and wealth creation. And Dr. Charity Waithema, who will be taking us through a panel discussion on mental wellness. We have guest artists, that is Michael Mahandere from Zimbabwe and our very own Rebecca Dawn. So please make sure you don't miss this opportunity to come forth as gold. All you have to do is register at the following link and you're set. Remember, the dates are 20th to the 24th of July. God bless you.
Coming soon on Hope TV. There's a power within you to help you overcome your most daunting challenges. Where could life take you if fear was not a factor? Are you ready to move from worry to confidence?
Sometimes we say, well, I've tried everything else and I guess all that's left is prayer. And we demote prayer to the bottom of the list when it should be elevated to the top of the list.
From anxiety to hope. Why be safe when you can boldly step into what's next?
Each disaster reminds us that a disaster-free eternity awaits us, and it inspires our heart to long for it.
Turning Point with Dr. David Jeremiah.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Now, casual labor, drug and substance abuse have been cited as the major factors leading to poor school performance in some parts of Embu County. Poverty levels have seen students engage in casual labor to earn their daily bread, with most working as sand harvesters and tea pluckers. Speaking during a mentorship day for secondary school, colleges and universities, Embu County Public Service CEC, David Kariuki challenged parents to actively play their role effectively to ensure that children are brought up well.
Masomo imeathirika kiasi kwa sababu ya mandawa ya kulevya ambayo imeingilia katika shule. Tunajua siku hizi wanafunzi wengine wamekuwa waraibu wa hizi ndawa za kulevya, na tungeuliza hao waachane na hayo maneno, kwa sababu hiyo ni mambo ya kuwafurahisha moyo tu kwa sasa. Ingine changamoto zingine ni wengine wameenda kufuna miraa, wengine wameenda kufuna majani chai, wengine ni kahawa, wakaacha mambo ya shule. Na ni vizuri wa vijana wajue ya kwamba hii mambo ya kufurahisha roho saa hii ndio itafanya wakose ile ya muhimu zaidi hapo nyumaye. Wazazi wamekuwa wadhaifu kwa kulipa karo, wengine ni kukosa, lakini wengine wamekuwa pia wana changamoto zao nyumbani ambapo walipii watoto shule na wanaona watoto ndio wanandorora katika masomo.
Sisi tumetengeneza sheria ya kucontrol the trading within our markets. Kwa katika ile sheria kuna nao wale watu wanatuangusha sana ni the law enforcers. Upande wa askari, the administration and the rest. Kwa sababu hatuwezi unda sheria na ni sisi tunakuja kuenforce that particular law. Lazima kuwe kila mtu afanye kazi kulingana na line yake ya kazi. Tukisema kwa masoko wanafunzi wasipatikane. Tukisema kwa biashara zetu kama sand harvesting watoto wasipatikane pale. Tukisema kama ni maneno ya the issue to do with miraa pale, uchunaji wa miraa, tukisema wanafunzi wasipatikane pale, ni jukumu la the area chiefs, assistant chiefs and the police to ensure that those laws they are adhered to.
Tumetia bidii kuhakikisha kwamba karibu kila eneo, karibu kila shule kuna shule ya chekechea, na hiyo yote tumehimiza. Alafu shule zetu za vocational ziko kila bahari, na tunahimiza watu wale ambao wafanyi vizuri katika class form 4 na hata class 8 waweze kwenda kwa hizo vocational schools.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has successfully completed the process of finding a lasting solution to conflict in Marsabit County. The peace talks led by NCIC brought together Marsabit Governor, the Senator, Woman Representative, Members of Parliament, the County Speaker, leaders of majority and minority, and the Interreligious Council. This follows a directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta when he met Marsabit leaders last week, ordering for lasting peace in the region. The two-day meeting took place at the Kenya School of Government, where all the leaders developed a practical roadmap and implementation plan for the interventions needed to achieve lasting peace of the region. According to NCIC Chairman Samuel Kobia, the leaders resolved to have personal and collective responsibility in the implementation of the roadmap. Early this month, NCIC commenced investigations into the ongoing violence in Marsabit with an aim of bringing to book the masterminds of the conflict. The reported cases of violence in Marsabit between the Boran, Gabra, and Rendile communities has left over 100 people dead and others displaced since the beginning of the year. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has visited the multi-agency team of Kenyan security officers undertaking a joint operational training in Boni Forest, Lamu County. The field training exercise FTX is part of a broad whole of government approach to the delivery of security services by leveraging on interoperability of Kenya's security assets. The FTX, which is coordinated by the Kenya Defence Forces, KDF, brings together troops from the different security formations in the country, among them Kenya Police Service, NPS, National Youth Service, NYS, Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, Kenya Forest Service, KFS, and the Kenya Coast Guard, KCG, with a view of attaining high levels of operational efficiency. At the camp, the president was accompanied by Defense Cabinet Secretary Dr. Monica Juma, witnessed drills by officers who've been training for 3 weeks and taken on a guided tour by Chief of Defense Forces, CDF, General Robert Kiboshi. In his address to the officers, President Uhuru Kenyatta said he was pleased by the training and noted that the multi-agency approach would help enhance the effectiveness of the country's security apparatus. He said Kenya will continue to jealously guard its borders and cautioned and named external forces against disrespecting the country's territorial integrity. The head of state congratulated the troops for taking up the training and thanked them for the various social projects aimed at uplifting the well-being of host communities. Let's now look at what is happening internationally. Haiti has welcomed its new Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, who was tipped to by former leader Jovenel Moise. Moise was killed in an assassination plot executed by a group of gunmen who stormed his private residence in Port-au-Prince, plunging the country into a deep political crisis. The swearing in of the 71-year-old neurosurgeon brings to an end the stalemate that created a gap for criminal gangs to thrive. Meanwhile, Haiti has officially started a period of mourning for Moise, with the Prime Minister vowing to bring the killers to justice. In his inaugural address, Ariel promised to unite the nation and conduct the impending referendum and local legislative elections, which had been postponed. Claude Joseph, who was the country's acting prime minister, said earlier this week that he would step down for the good of the nation after a key group of international diplomats on Saturday came out in support of Henry and urged him to form a new government. The residents of Henan province in central China have been affected by ongoing heavy rains in what experts say is the consequence of climate change. Latest incident has claimed the lives of 12 people and left others injured after the floods caught up with people who are using the subway system for public transportation. Reports say that thousands of people have been evacuated to safe areas, even as more rains have been forecast for the region in days to come. President Xi Jinping said on Wednesday that there has been significant loss of life and destruction to property. Water levels have reached their peak, with cars and debris being swept off the roads. The military has been deployed to divert rivers which have burst their banks as flights and train services remain grounded in Henan province, home to 100 million people. The downpour has been termed as the worst in 1,000 years. Right, let's take another break on News Watch, and you come back, we'll be looking at what is happening in business and sports.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome to Activate. Kickstart your day with George and Kerry on the Street Hour of Prayer.
And welcome to Activate, this being the station where you listen and live Hope FM.
From Nairobi to the world.
Great music just for you.
Activate.
The only show that keeps you activated.
Yes, indeed.
Activate every weekday morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on Hope FM, where you listen and live.
Hope TV is where you look and live, offering some of the best family entertainment programs with Christian movies, in-depth discussions, contemporary Christian worship, and testimony programs. Hope TV provides the life-transforming message of Jesus Christ. We deliver inspirational, informational, and motivational programming with special guests and unmatched teaching. When it comes to watching television, tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Let's continue with business news. Manufacturing small and medium enterprises, SMEs, have urged government to harmonize laws, policies, regulations, and standards governing their operations at the national and county levels. They were speaking during the SMEs Regulatory Bootcamp organized by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, KAM, to unpack the environment in which SMEs operate in. The Principal Secretary, State Department for East African Community, EAC, at the Ministry of EAC and Regional Development, Dr. Kevit Desai, noted the importance of synergy between government and the business community.
We talk about job creation, lack of jobs. If we just decide, those of us in Kiambu County maybe just specialize in making buttons, the number of buttons would make as a country. for schools, for home, buttons in wear, buttons in interiors. If we just focus on making taps, I mean, come on, guys, manufacturing. But we start small. So I don't see why it's such an uphill task to start as a small business. It shouldn't be. Look at countries like Germany. They started with what is called cottage industries, but here it's almost like it's a punishment to be wanting to have a dream and go beyond that dream to actually say, I will start from the back of my house, from the road. It's almost like it's a punishment. We are not here to do wrong, dear government. We're not here to do wrong, dear policy makers. We wake up every day more resilient. This pandemic, if ever a time I saw our resilience as Kenyans in the SME, was this time. With everything, we're still here, we're still hopeful because we know the impact it can have on our country.
First and foremost, the government has been the front line in formulating and reviewing and implementation of policies. There are quite a number of policies across the sector, and I do agree with the Madam Chairperson on the SME Hub. There is need to have one-on-one or a dialogue within the policymakers and also the SMEs in the country. You recall recently we reviewed the MSC policy. We already have it. It was officially launched late last month. It is available, and I think I've also shared some advanced material with the CAM, but we will also be sharing more copies with the CAM so that they can also be disseminated, and we see where do we have a one-on-one, where do we come in, because implementation is very key.
And John Kamau, a driver from Limuru Town, is the winner of a brand new Fuso FI truck in the just concluded second edition of the Weka Collabo Shinda Fuso FI promotion. Speaking during the awarding ceremony at Shell Kamakis service station at the Eastern Bypass, an overjoyed Kamau, who has been an employed driver for the last 20 years, said he has always aspired to be an owner of a transportation vehicle and to run his own business. Vivo Energy Kenya Managing Director Peter Muriungi congratulated him and motorbike winners who were awarded and appreciated the over 400,000 customers who actively participated in the promotion.
Kwa majina naitwa John Kamau. Mimi ni driver wa kampuni ambayo inaitwa Ginyo Investment. Na mimi tuko customer sana na Shell. Na ndio tulikuwa tunaendanga tuna fuel kila wakati. Mimi ni mzee ambaye ako na watoto watatu. Mimi ni mzee na kwangu ni Limuru na kufanya kazi ya kubeba mdosi. Tena tumesimamia mambo ya magari yetu ya makampuni, ndio ina transport vitu kama majani chai, kahawa, na huwa tuna fuel kwa Shell. Hata ukiona kwa simu yangu niko na hii alama ya Shell. Hii ndio ni kadi ambayo tunatumianga tukifanya nini. Sasa wakati tulienda kufuel, tulikuta hizi vitu zinaitwa voucher. Na sisi tukienda kufuel, tunapatiwa, tuna scratch, tunatuma. Sasa kwa uwezo wa Mungu, sikuwa najua kama mimi nitakuwa mshindi wa leo. Lakini nimeona miujiza ya Mungu kwa sababu hata nilikuwa nimeitwa jina langu, sikuamini kama ni mimi nilikuwa naitwa.
We are very proud to inform that we were associated with this campaign, not only for the FI, but also the second prize, which was the L200 double cab pickup Mitsubishi, a brand new pickup which was won by Mr. Kevin. It is very important to ensure that we as Kenyans look for growth of Kenya, and the assembly, local assembly of Fuso FI brings you a vehicle and the slogan, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
We decided to give back to our customers in a very difficult period by launching a campaign that was targeted purely to all our customers using all the products, which means customers who drive, customers who walk to our service stations to buy items, all of them, as long as they were Shell items, they were able to participate.
And to some sports news now, the Kenya Premier League second position, KCB, have improved their chances of clinching their first Premier League Cup by depositing 2 goals past Ulinzi Stars in Kiambu. Masita Masuta had fired the Soldiers ahead at the stroke of halftime, but striker Derek Otanga levelled for the Bunkers on 53rd minute from the spot. Otanga made amends for his first half penalty miss on 53rd minute, this time successfully scoring from the spot after Haron Mwale was adjudged to have handled Simiu's cross inside the box. Simiu sealed all the points for KCB with a late superb finish after dribbling well inside the Soldiers area. In other matches that were played today, Vihiga United held Nairobi City Stars in a barren draw. Kariobangi Sharks drowned Gor Mahia by 2-1. Posta Rangers and Zoya Sugar ended in a 0-0, and Wazito FC schooled Kakamega Homeboys by beating them 1-0. Rally drivers Hamza Anwar, Makre Kimathi and Jeremy Wahome have expressed confidence ahead of the third round of the African Rally Championship that kicks off on Friday 23rd July to Sunday 25th July in Tanzania. The trio were sponsored by Safaricom and Kenya Airways, will be making their debuts in Tanzania, giving their Ford Fiestas a second outing after last month's Safari Rally. Wahome, Anwar and Kimathi are some of the youngest drivers who featured in last month's World Rally Championships, WRC Safari Rally, that made a comeback in Kenya after a 19-year absence. Wahome finished in the 16th position and Anwar in the 25th, while Kimani retired at the final stage due to a mechanical problem.
Yeah, so this will be my second rally following on from the WRC. So my first expectation really is to just keep building the momentum. My first rally went quite well. Enjoyed myself, enjoyed the challenge that rallying posed. So to keep building on that momentum, every time I get in the car, I'm learning, getting faster. So to see where that speed leads me on to. Yeah, I guess the best preparation was the Safari Rally, but that was now a month ago. So just doing a debrief, a review with my co-driver, Victor, where we can improve on the notes, where I can improve as a driver, things I need to learn and perfect. So in those areas, and yeah, just practicing now privately away from competition. Yeah, so yeah, as well as myself, also the car has been prepared. Just making modifications from how the car came from Poland. We didn't get much time to do that before the Safari Rally. So just stuff like ride height, springs, repairing the cosmetic damages. Luckily, it was only cosmetic that we had, and yeah, just making sure everything is back to how it was normally so that we now start from a good point.
To see what type of competition there is in Tanzania, to gauge ourselves to see if Kenyans are actually better than Tanzanians, as they say. We're very prepared. The cars have been finished, tested. We're just waiting for just final small details. But overall, I think we're ready. We are ready for the challenge, ready to go represent our sponsors, Safaricom and Kenya Airways, and to have some fun, of course. Yeah. No, just mainly not just improvements, just rebuilding the car from Safari, trying to see what parts were damaged, trying to replace those parts. Little bit of setup work, but all in all, it's just routine maintenance service and trying to, make yourself as ready as possible. I think they should expect us to do our best, as we always do, drive our hardest, try and bring a good result back home, try and, please the sponsors, make sure that we bring the car back in one piece, and also look for a good result because we're also chasing for the African Rally Championship. So we're also looking forward to try and win that title.
The Olympic governing body IOC has announced that the 2032 Olympics will be held in the Australian city, Brisbane. Several cities and countries had publicly expressed an interest in staging the 2032 Games, including Indonesia, Hungary's capital Budapest, China, Qatar's Doha, and Germany's Ruhr Valley region. Awarding the games to Australia was also a nod to senior IOC member Coet and one of the closest allies, IOC President Thomas Bach. Tokyo is hosting the postponed 2020 Olympics this week, and Paris will stage the 2024 Games. Los Angeles has been awarded the 2028 Summer Olympics. All right, that story brings us to the end of this live broadcast of News Watch tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. My name is Tony Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night, and God bless.